David's not here today.
Starting to, just start the recording, did you just start the recording in there? No. Or it just does it automatically? Oh, he did, he's hosting. Oh, okay. So maybe we should just begin it. Good morning, everyone, good afternoon, I should say, everyone. I would like to call the July 22nd, 2021 Real Estate Board meeting to order. It's nice to see everybody in person, now that we've, begun this process again. I'm gonna start with the roll call, of the board members that are in attendance. So I'll begin in Albany.
Duncan McKenzie, Vice Chair.
Thank you. In New York,
Diane Ramirez, board member.
Neil Garfinkel, board member.
and Rochester.
Edwin Clark, real estate board member.
David Dworkin, board member.
Thank you, everybody. I'm gonna turn to Dave. Dave, do we have a quorum?
No, we don't have a quorum.
Okay, so at this point, we don't have a quorum. Okay, so we'll start with the department subcommittee reports. Is Ernest there?
Yes.
Okay, I just don't see you.
No, I'll
Ernest?
move up.
Okay,
Can you see me? Okay.
Ernest, can you do the enforcement report, please?
Yes. Good afternoon. This enforcement report will provide a status update on our complaint investigations of real estate brokerages alleged discrimination that was reported by Newsday. As you may recall, in late 2019, Newsday published a story on their investigation of discriminatory behavior by brokerages on Long Island. Newsday used hit cameras and testers to investigate what they described as a pattern of discriminatory practices against minority home buyers by Long Island brokerages. DOS enforcement reviewed the Newsday article and then conducted complaint investigations into the allegations. The investigation included interviewing the involved salespersons and brokers and collecting written statements and documents from them. As a result, enforcement forwarded a number of complaint investigations to our counsel's office recommending a disciplinary hearing. Currently, there have been a total of 12 hearings completed with 10 hearings pending. Additionally, 2 complaints are awaiting to be scheduled a hearing date. Also, 3 complaints resulted in warnings being issued to the licensee rather than taking the complaints to a hearing. Further, 5 complaints remain under review by our counsel's office. And finally, as of today's date, there have been no final hearing decisions on these cases. That concludes my enforcement report. Are there any questions?
Okay, thanks so much, Ernest. I'm going to move on to the processing report. Emily?
Hello. Included in the materials you were provided is a report of the number of current real estate licensees for June of 2020 and June of 2021. The report groups licensees into broker and branch office licenses and salesperson licenses. The totals are listed by county. These numbers include only licensees and do not include those licensees whose licenses may have expired and are covered by Executive Order 202.11, which allowed individuals licensed by the department to extend the expiration of their license during the state of emergency. This concludes the processing report.
Thank you, Emily. Is there any questions? Okay, so we'll move on to the education report. Marcy?
Good afternoon. On July 1st, a new law regarding continuing education went into effect for real estate salespersons and brokers. All licensees are required to successfully complete 22.5 hours of approved continuing education, which must now include at least 2.5 hours on the subject of ethical business practices, at least 1 hour of recent legal matters, at least 3 hours of instruction pertaining to fair housing and/or discrimination in the sale or rental of real property or an interest in real property, and at least 1 hour of instruction pertaining to the law of agency, except in the case of the initial 2-year licensing term for real estate salespersons. 2 hours of agency-related instructions must be completed within the 2-year period immediately preceding a renewal. 27 organizations have received approval to offer the new topics, which allows licensees to successfully locate courses. Change also removes the 15-year real estate broker continuing education exemption and now requires all brokers to complete continuing education. That concludes my report. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Thanks, Marcy. We'll move on to the examination report. Shannon?
Good afternoon. The following statistics will cover the first quarter of 2021. 9,423 real estate salesperson exams were scheduled. Out of those, 6,251 applicants sat for the exam with a pass rate of 58%. 7,644 real estate broker exams were scheduled. 451 sat for the exam with a pass rate of 58%. And that concludes my report, unless there's any questions.
Okay, thanks, Shannon. I will move on to new business. Dave Mossberg, the executive order update.
So as probably most people are aware, the governor announced that the state of emergency relating to the COVID-19 pandemic was declared over on June 24th. So as a result, all of the old executive orders that impacted the department's operations, including the license extender, the remote notarization, as well as the relaxation of the open meetings laws are no longer in effect. So just confirming for everyone that those are no longer applicable. So unless anyone has any questions, that's all I have to report.
Any questions? Okay. All right, so the next agenda item is the DOS website, which is me. So I just wanted to bring it to the attention of all the board members that our website was recently redesigned. There's quite a difference to the look and feel of it that we had prior. It was designed to try to look like many of the other state agencies and make it a little bit more easier for people to navigate. We've been working closely on, whenever you do a new website, you have broken links and changes that are not always perfect. So we've been working to fix them. We've had some positive feedback. People seem to like it. We just wanted to bring it to your attention. And if you have any questions or any concerns about it or any suggestions, just please bring it to our attention. But it's totally looking different. And I'm sure many of you have seen it already by now. But we just wanted to bring that to all the board's attention. Does anybody have any updates or questions, I should say, regarding the updates to the website? Okay, thank you. So the last agenda item is the next meeting date.
Hi, good afternoon. I just wanted to make an announcement that the next meeting of the New York State Real Estate Board will be Thursday, November 18th at 1 p.m. And that's it. If you have any agenda items that you come to mind between now and then, go ahead and send them to me at my email address.
Thanks, Denise.
That's it, thank you.
Okay, so,
Can I do one thing
Oh,
for
sure.
the business?
sure.
And I know this comes under DHR, but Dave, maybe, can we get an update on the notice of reasonable accommodations? Do we know where that is?
So my understanding is that the official window for public comments has expired based on the register's publication date and SAPA requirements. I have not been speaking to them at all, but it's my understanding, however, that they're now just in the phase of reviewing the public comments. And ultimately, that agency is going to make a decision on, whether or not they're going to make any changes following the notice of proposed.
Thank you.
So it's just in that window where they're evaluating the public comments, but I can't predict or know when they may actually do it.
Okay.
But I think maybe,
Duncan?
Yes.
It's Neil Garfinkel. I can confirm what David said, and they have confirmed that they've received our comments and that they are considering them.
Thank you.
thank you, Neil.
Okay, so, I just wanted, before I adjourn the meeting, I just wanted to, include that there's gonna be a public hearing session after this, run by Dave, but we'll first adjourn the meeting. So what I would like to have a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So move.
Okay. Everybody in agreement?
Yes.
Okay, closed. Adjourned. Dave?
Thank you. So pursuant to New York Real Property Law, Section 442I, Paragraph 6, in addition to the regularly scheduled meetings of the Real Estate Board, the department is required to hold public hearings, the purpose of which is to solicit from members of the public suggestions, comments, observations about real estate practices in New York. So I will open it up at this point to any public members either in New York City or Albany, or that are appearing via the WebEx. If there's any public members that would like to make a comment. Anybody in New York?
No.
There are no public members in New York.
Anyone in Albany? And nobody appearing virtually?
And no one here in Rochester.
And no one in Rochester. Fantastic. All right, so with no public members wishing to speak, the public meeting issue or open pursuant to 442 paragraph 6 is now closed. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good
Good
to see
summer.
you all.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.